Honorable Men Discord. Queen's Flip fight at Eastern Parkway. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's get straight to this conversation. So first and foremost, happy belated Labor Day. And for all of you that live in New York City or have visited New York City during that time and found yourself at Eastern Parkway, I hope you enjoyed yourself. So let me first get to Queen's Flip situation, and I'm going to talk about it further towards the end.
What up?
What's good, baby?
Alright,
Be safe,
How you
man.
doing, bro? You alright?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie right now, you not the celebrity. Niggas don't even
Stop touching me. Stop touching me, bro.
That's what I'm trying to say. Hold on. Listen, I need right now. Yo, hold on. I don't know you, but now you wanna move that funny shit. Niggas don't give a fuck about Queen's Flip.
We're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing.
You're not doing nothing.
So don't touch me. You're not doing nothing. Hold on. He's on.
I gotta touch you.
I said, call him. So call him.
No, bitch. Yeah, go get him. Like, what the fuck?
It's alright. I know. You picking too much noise.
What you at? You was moving cool.
You touching me. Don't touch.
Never touch you. I'm trying to get to my neck. What you talking about? What are you talking about? And you playing fun away. What's up?
You're not gonna do nothing.
I will violate you, gang.
What do you mean? We going? It's alright.
Not even like that. I will violate you, gang. I will violate you.
I got you. Hold on.
My nephew violate you. Alright, babe. And my nephew violate you. Somebody. Come here. Yo, violate you. Wait, hold on. Wait, Jaden. All of y'all violate you. We good.
Listen, I feel it.
All right. Again, my experience and Queen's Flip experience is completely different. One of which, because he's a known face, he's for those of you that don't know, who Queen's Flip is. He was also featured on the Joe Budden podcast network. He's a fairly new addition to Joe Budden's network. So you can find Queen's Flip out there. And when I looked further, he has a history as a rap artist, right? But so totally different experiences, because he's a notable person. When you're out on the Parkway trying to get content, people are going to recognize you. Some are going to show love. Some are going to be disrespectful just because they just want to ruin your footage. And this just comes along with the territory. Same thing would happen if you're a celebrity. There's going to be someone who's going to just try to make a name from you because they know that the cameras are rolling and they can go viral, and there'll be they'll be popular for the moment, right? So with that being said, I just wanted to address certain things in this interaction with Queen's Flip. I do not know how old Queen's Flip is, but I think it's safe to say we're around the same age. All right? I'm 46, and I don't think I've ever said that on this channel, but I'm 46. I'm on the road to 47. I'm on the road. Once you make it past 45, I always round it out. I'm on the road to 50. All right? I'm 46. I turn 47 next year. Not ashamed of it at all, because I have too many friends that have not even made it this far. So with that being said, I'm going to assume Queen's Flip is around my age. If he's not, he's closer to 50 than I am. And if he's younger than me, same thing. Even if he's in his 40s, same thing. Right? This interaction, I know too well, because within the black community, the worst thing you could do is put your hands on somebody. Right? So the guy rests his hand on Queen's Flip shoulder or arm, and that triggered Queen's Flip. Right? But here's a few things that I have to say about this. I personally would have let that slide. Not out of fear, but just out of awareness. All right? I would let that slide because out of awareness, I'm on Eastern Parkway, and it could turn ugly within seconds. Queen's Flip had a security guard with him, a bodyguard, and regardless of having security with you, you're on Eastern Parkway. You don't know who knows who, and you don't know how many people are going to show up and stomp you both out. That when I say both out, that means the bodyguard and Queen's Flip. Now, some of you watching this content, you might say, "Well, I don't care about that." If they're gonna bring it, bring it. Some of you guys are warriors. I know you're warriors, and you're willing to fight a whole crowd of people. But as I've mentioned plenty of times over, and this has been the case even coming up in the 90s, early 2000s, the likelihood of fights just ending as just fights, especially now in 2025, is very slim, right? So Queen's Flip stopping and the guy saying, "Oh, get my nephews," you don't know which way it's going to go. And I thought it was very inconsiderate of Queen's Flip to put his bodyguard in that situation, because the bodyguard has to keep him safe. And if the bodyguard is even though the bodyguard is employed by you, if the bodyguard's telling you, trying to defuse the situation, let the bodyguard do his job. What you hire him for, if you're going to tell him to stand down and you're going to proceed with engaging the guy. So I think Queen's Flip could have let that slide. Luckily for him, when the guys showed up, when the young guys showed up, they recognized him, which is not shown in this video. But for those of you that never seen this before, I advise you to look up Queen's Flip Eastern Parkway fight and watch the whole thing in its entirety. I think he could have let this go. I think he should have let it go, but I think his pride got the best of him because the cameras was rolling, and so he didn't want anyone clowning him for being approached by somebody and then basically walking away. So I think his pride got a hold of him, which is why I'm not a fan of the streaming in general. I'm not a fan of streaming at all, to be honest with you. I feel like that's a young man's game. I'm not mad at anyone for streaming, but as an older person, I'm not a fan of streaming. I just think just shoot your regular content, edit it, and then put it up, because this is something that I would have edited out, not because of fear of what people have to say in the comments, but I'm not giving that guy any light. He's irrelevant. I would have been like, all right, whatever you say, and kept it walking. Now, if the guy comes back and puts his arms on my shoulder, if the guy is stepping in front of me, if the guy is messing with my cameraman, then that's different. That wasn't the situation. Furthermore, another person I forgot to mention that he put in a bad predicament was the cameraman. And this message is for Queen's Flip. And by all means, if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments. Keep it respectable. Oh my goodness, I'm choking up on words now. Keep it respectful. Here's the thing, and this message is to Queen's Flip. When you're out there in Eastern Parkway, knowing that you're out there for a parade with the amount of people that's out there, you're responsible. Even though your bodyguard's there, paid to protect you, you're responsible for your bodyguard. That bodyguard has family. You're responsible for the guy filming you, which, for those of you who actually saw this entire thing, you would know that wasn't his son. Normally he has his son out there filming him. Even more so when it's your son filming you. But you still have a responsibility for the guy who's covering for your son in his absence. You have a responsible for the people that were in your entourage. There was a female that was there, and there were other people. Even though they're going to have your back, you're still responsible for them. Because if you say go and you initiate something, they're going to hold you down. Excuse the thunder and lightning in the background, but they're going to hold you down. So you're responsible for them. All right? And this is why you walk away as an older man. I believe in walking away in general, but again, in this life, we all have to go through our scenarios alone to figure it out. If I say to the young generation, I don't think you should go out there and engage, some may listen, some may not listen. But when we're talking about older statesmen, we know better. Queen's Flip, you know better. And you're not a coward if you would have brushed it off. I don't think you're soft by any means. Let me just put that out there. I don't think Queen's Flip is soft. I don't think he's soft. But this was a scenario where I think his pride got the best of him. But let me go into some of the two things that I have queued up what people had to say about this, and then we'll talk even further.
I'm just sitting here trying to understand this altercation right here. Queen's Flip goes to the parade. He gets into an altercation with another grown man, right? I'm 35 years old. My oldest son is 20 years old. My oldest nephew is 20 years old. With that being said, I would never get into an altercation with another man and call my nephew or my son. 20 years old right now. Y'all call them YNs. I call them young men. They crashing out all around the world. And it's lack of guidance like this. Why would you go get your nephew to jeopardize his life or his freedom fighting or doing something to somebody in a parade, which is supposed to be an exciting family day? Like, that shit is crazy. Imagine that. Your nephew would have been there with 50 of his friends. You would have called them and say, yo, I have a problem over here. Come do him dirty. If they didn't know Queenz Flip, or they didn't know him as the media guy, it would have been ugly for Flip. I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that the kid knew who Flip was kind of saved him a little bit, you know? He was kind of more so confused, like, yo, why is my uncle even arguing with Queenz Flip? What's going on here? But it's just sad that you would jeopardize that young man's freedom and his life to handle a small miscommunication. Something y'all could have talked about. You could have kept walking your way, he could have kept walking his way. But you call your nephew to get all his peoples to handle the situation for you, and you just jeopardize all these young men's freedom, all these young men's future. And that's the sad part about the whole shit, bro, to be honest with you. Now, I understand there was a miscommunication. Y'all could have left that shit alone a long time ago. It's just sad that grown men is damaging these young men as they grow. Like, what? Like, I see things different because I understand that my 20-year-old son is at that crash out age, and he's gonna go all the way every single time, especially if it has something to do with his dad. And if he's with 20 or 30 of his friends, bro, they might beat you to death, and I can't put that risk on my child. So I won't even call him. It's just a cold world, man. A lot of people don't think, man. And it's actually sad. It's actually sad. It really is.
So he explained his opinion on the actual guy who told his, who summoned his nephews or whoever it was, the young boys. He himself also was prideful and was embarrassed because he knows he's on camera. This is a perfect example of how we go 0 to 100 because of our pride. And luckily it was just a fight. Luckily, obviously, because of the parade, they had police officers there. And if you saw the full thing, which I'm not going to play in this episode, if you saw the full thing, the police officers got involved right away. They even used pepper spray. But I agree with what he's saying. Why are you calling people to handle your issue? Your issues with Queenz Flip. Queenz Flip is talking to you. Queenz Flip, I don't understand, again, and only Queenz Flip could explain himself. I just think he could have just let it go. I think Queenz Flip could have let it go. He chose not to let it go. Maybe Queenz Flip, in the back of his mind, his pride was hurt a little, and he also wanted to make content. So I think it was half and half. Maybe he was thinking, man, you know what? I'm not worried about this guy. This is content. Let's keep it rolling. Because Queenz Flip telling him, oh, you're not going to do nothing, standing there. Like, you wanted it to happen. Then when the guy tells the little one to go get more people, Queenz Flip was like, yeah, you can get him. Like, he wanted that content. He continued to disrespect the guy. Now, however Queenz Flip felt about the guy putting his hand on his shoulder, it seems as though Queenz Flip made it worse than it was. And that's my opinion. I feel like Queenz Flip made it worse than it was. He could have just brushed it off. But if you disagree with me, talk about it. Let's talk about this in the comment. And this is the last thing I have queued up.
I cannot believe it, bro. I just watched this video of Queenz Flip get into a fight in New York, bro. And I tell you, I am crying, laughing. Mad you, bro. I'm still dusty, sweating right now, bro. I was just working out, listening to the Joe Budden podcast. So that's what makes it 10 times funny. I'm literally just listening to the podcast from yesterday, and I see this man Flip come up. Buddy walk up on him. He ain't even flip. Like, Flip, you looking to crash out. You trying to be a YN now, Flip. You looking to crash out. He knocked the hat off your head, first of all. So you can't be a YN with that head.
I didn't see that. But let's continue.
But no, it starts with Buddy barely touching Flip. He barely touched him. He kind of was like trying to talk to the camera. He barely touched me. He said, "Get your hands off me. Don't touch me." I'm like, Flip, why you acting tough? So Flip and Buddy get into it. He like, bro, whole time I know you, but I'm not jacking that, bro. I'm not jacking that. You know how they be in New York. I'm not jacking it. He wasn't jacking it. You feel me? So he started getting on that with Flip. And Flip security like, nah, we ain't on that. Flip talking about, nah. He telling us he's steady. Every time Buddy get up close to him, and his security be like, nah, we ain't on that. Flip is like, no, get back, he's soft. He telling his security, get back, he's soft. So then basically, Buddy run up and knock Flip. I don't even know if he knocked his hat off his head, but he said, he smacked him. I ain't gonna lie. He smacked him, and Flip was like, he was looking around. Then another buddy tried to run up and get on Flip. So Flip said, he tried to like flex at him a little bit. Then after he was done, he tried to play it off, act like he's walking off. And he went back to the other buddy and said, that boy hat flew off and everything. That boy was out there looking like Daniel Cormier, boy. I ain't gonna lie, his security or whoever was holding him back from really getting his real ground and pound in, bro. But I swear that was just the funniest video I just watched, bro. I ain't gonna lie, like Flip. I don't know what they got going on in New York, but you can't do this everywhere, though, bro. You being a little too tough. You really didn't have to do that, gang, because you just should be lucky and want a YN with a switchy on them.
So this guy started off laughing, and here's the thing. I've seen Queenz Flip content. Again, I like Queenz Flip content. His content, he has some, funny clips. Queenz Flip does outlandish things. Sometimes I feel like it's a skit. I can't tell if it's real or if it's a skit. But if you're familiar with Queenz Flip's content, you know that he clowns around from time to time. As of late, when I've watched his recent stuff, it seems as though he, especially when it involves people like the general public or people he doesn't know, he doesn't talk much on camera. Before this whole fight took place, when I watched the full video, it seems as though he was just walking around, the camera was rolling, and this is why I don't like streaming, because I'm not about to watch somebody live their life literally on camera. You gotta tell me something while you're on camera. Narrate the footage that we're watching, and that doesn't happen, which is why I just can't do it. I'm too grown for it. I just can't. Unless you're showing me something that I've never seen from another country, it's an event, I'll tune in, but at some point in time, I'm gonna need to hear you tell me something about what I'm watching. But before this fight took place, Queenz Flip was walking around. Then you're just watching him look at his phone, and other people are talking, entertaining the viewers, And then eventually he's walking, and people recognize him, and then this whole event happened. But it could have been avoided. I just feel as though, consider those that are with you in your entourage. It can't just be about my pride is hurt. Think about them also. And again, I don't think Queenz Flip is soft. But I think what we need to understand is giving grace and letting things slide doesn't mean you're soft. It just means you're mature and you're smart. I'm going to say it again. Giving grace doesn't mean you're soft. It just means you're mature and you're smart. Because once you hit the go button, you don't know where it's going to go. And sometimes you find yourself in situations where it may go places that you didn't intend it to go, but you already initiated it. And there's no turning back. And then what was supposed to be just a nice time out on Eastern Parkway enjoying the festivities, now you're behind bars. It's senseless. I don't condone that type of stuff. I don't think any of us should condone it, especially older statesmen. If you disagree with me, let's talk about it in the comments, but come on. What are we doing out there? Again, I was out there, different section of Eastern Parkway. I was in and out. I had a good time. Got some great footage. You're streaming. Your cameraman should have been on the procession making its way down Eastern Parkway. That's content. You think people are not going to tune into that? They want to see that. They want to see if your cameraman could have caught the Haiti truck. The Haiti truck was incredible. It was a complete vibe watching the Haitian truck pass by. right? The cameraman could have been on that instead of filming you on your phone. And I didn't watch after the fight. He pretty much walked off because they all got pepper sprayed. And after that, I lost interest because I wasn't about to again watch him just not speak to the camera. Maybe he did, but I couldn't watch it anymore. I just can't watch somebody just living their life on camera, and I have things to do myself, But that's my thoughts on this. What is your thoughts on this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? But listen, were you out there? What was your experience like on Eastern Parkway? Was it an enjoyable experience, or did you end up having a situation similar to Queenz Flip out on Eastern Parkway? Let me know in the comments. But that's all I have on this episode. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next episode. Stay honorable.